Cody, how are you?
I'm good, man. Just finished, I think, my last sparring session at camp. Still have all my teeth, not all cut up or anything. So, yeah, I'm happy.
How was your last sparring session?
It was good. It was really good. I got to go with a couple of really good wrestlers. You know, that gave me a really good look for Luan, the guy that I'm fighting in Brazil. I think that's how you say his name. Kind of sounds kind of like Luan, but yeah, it was solid. Yeah, I feel like I've gotten the looks that I need, you know, to get ready for a really good jiu-jitsu guy that I think is gonna probably pull guard after I put my hand in his mouth a couple times. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go in enemy territory and take someone's head off.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. It is 16 days till your fight. How are you feeling?
I'm hungry. I'm fucking starving. I'm starving, I'm sore, I feel fucking beat up, but I mean this is exactly how you need to feel, you know, like if you're not nursing some little injuries here and there and you're not hungry, you're probably not working hard enough, you know. So, you know, I know I put the work in, I know that the hay's in the barn at this point, you know. I could literally coast all the way up until the fight and just let my body recover, and that's kind of how I like to do it, you know what I mean? I like to do the hard stuff, you know, from week 8 to week 2, and then have the 2 weeks to kind of relax and let my body heal up and feel fresh when I get in there in the cage.
I was wondering, what's your tattoo mean?
Luan Lacerda?
Yeah.
It means come and take. It's a Greek saying. King Leonidas, if you've seen the movie 300, he says come and take them. Yeah, that's what it is. He says, in Greek, he says Luan Lacerda, which means come and take, like means come fuck with me.
That's awesome, man. It's been 7 months since your fight against A. Wineland. We literally talked 5 days after your fight, but now looking back at, like, how relieving was it to get back in the win column?
Oh, it was great. Obviously, you know, I was in a slump. First time ever in my career. You know, I went like a solid 10 years without losing a fight. So I really didn't even understand what losing was, and then to drop 3, like, I never ever saw myself being in that position, where I was like fighting for my job and knowing that, you know what I mean? And I feel like now that that's kind of behind me and I've seen the worst and I've seen the pits of hell in MMA, like, and I'm not really sure that I'm scared or bound by anything at this point, you know what I mean? The worst has happened, and now I'm just looking forward to, like, going out there and scrapping. You know, like, when I fought Eddie Wineland, I was 100% prepared to, like, one of us was going down in the first minute of the fight, and I knew that going in. Like, I was telling my corner, and they were telling me to, like, chill out, and, like, I feel like I kind of had that same energy going into this fight. Like, it's me or him. Like, I don't want to go to the judges' scorecards in Brazil. I want to fucking knock this dude clean into a different realm.
It took you a minute to get a fight. Why the fuck was it so hard to get you a fight?
I don't know, dude. I have no idea. I'm kind of in a weird spot. I fought a lot of the best guys in the division, and had really good fights with them. You know, fights that could have really went either way. So, am I, like, on top of the list of guys, like, you know, other dudes want to fight? Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine. You know what I mean? It's like there's a few other guys that are kind of in the same place as me. You know, like Ricky Simone and guys like that. Guys that can wrestle, guys that can strike, guys that have fought tough opponents. Like, nobody wants to fight those guys. Nobody really wants to get into the cage and fight those guys. So, like, I don't think there's a whole lot of guys fucking raising their hand going, yeah, I want to fight Cody Stamann because, you know, I'm a fucking 5'4" and just a fucking animal when I get in there.
When they offered you Luan, guys, UFC debut, you've been in the UFC for a minute now. What was it like? Who the fuck is this guy, or was it like it's just a name?
I mean, it was like, okay, I had a pretty good idea of, like, there were like 4 or 5 guys I thought I could fight. They were all sickos, you know what I mean? Like, bad dudes, guys that I knew. So when I got his name, I was actually pretty confused. I'm like, this guy must have some accolades outside of like his polished 12-1 record where he's really fought no one. And then, you know, come to find out, he's like a stud jiu-jitsu guy, very, very good, accomplished jiu-jitsu guy, training partner Jose Aldo, and I'm like, all right, this makes sense now. You know what I mean? I think Luan's tough, man. I think he's good. He's pretty good everywhere. Stand-up's okay, but, like, there's a big difference between fighting a good guy in the gym and fighting a good guy in the cage. And I know that because I fight some of the best guys in the world in here, and it's not the same thing as when you know, get in the cage with one of those guys. So I think Luan's, not that he had much of an option, I'm sure. I mean, they're like, hey, here's this fight, do you want it? You know, that's kind of how it happens in your first fight in the UFC. But like, I wouldn't be the guy. Like, if I had to fight myself getting into the UFC, I'd be fucking terrified. And in my backyard, you know what I mean? Like, pressure's on him. Like, I feel no pressure. I'm just gonna go out there and do what I know I'm capable of doing, and that's, you know, putting a hole in someone's head.
And you're going into enemy territory, the return to Brazil.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I've been there before. I know what they're gonna chant. Everyone's gonna be throwing beer at you and treating you like absolute dog shit, and I'm excited for it. Like, I've never really been in that atmosphere outside of wrestling, you know what I mean? Where, you know, you got the student section that's kind of shitting on you, and I always love that. I look forward to it. I was like, everyone else was like quiet and miserable on the bus ride over, and I was like pumped. I couldn't wait to like flip everybody off. Like, and I feel like I'm ready to do that in Brazil. I don't think I'm gonna go full Kobe Covington, but I'm gonna go like halfway. I'm not gonna disrespect the Brazilian people, but I'm a disrespectful man.
Well, at the end of the day, January 21st, how do you get your hand raised?
Well, I mean, with the judging the way it is in MMA right now, and being that I'm an American going to Brazil, I feel like I gotta put this dude on his face. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta put him out, or it's gotta be so lopsided that no one could possibly rob me of a decision. You know, so I know what I have to do. Like, I know that I cannot sit around and wait, and I gotta literally bring the fight to this kid and show him that there's levels to this shit, and we're not on the same level.
And then finally, last two things. Extreme Couture is going to war. First fight card, and then the next fight card, you got Brad yourself. How does it feel just having a bunch of teammates fighting and going through camp with a bunch of, you know?
I mean, it's always so much better for you when all the guys that you normally train with, you know, Danny Gay is a really big training partner of mine. Like, he's getting ready for a fight. He's training like crazy, you know what I mean? It's just an elevated experience, you know what I mean? When we're all preparing to get in a scrap, like, everyone's working so much harder. You don't want to lose those rounds, you know what I mean? And I feel like we're a lot more communicative, like, to each other, you know what I mean? We're actually talking about, you know, like, you did this right, work on this, you know what I mean? I watched your opponent, and yeah, I mean, having a team atmosphere where everyone's going to war, it's how it should be, you know what I mean? It feels right.
And finally, what do you want your 2023 to look like? What are some goals?
Knock a bunch of motherfuckers' heads off and make a bunch of money. I mean, outside of that, I don't really give a shit, you know what I mean? Like, I want to put guys to sleep. And I want to cash a bunch of checks. That's it. I mean, that's really it. Like, I don't really give a shit about anything in MMA. Like, I didn't get into MMA, so, you know, somebody could fucking, like, come up to me at the grocery store and tell me how great I am. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I like cashing checks and being left the fuck alone. Like, that's my thing. Like, I want to literally, like, my long-term goal is to build a house in the middle of fucking nowhere and get away from everyone. That's just who I am. I'm just not one of those guys that gives a shit about the popularity contest that half these motherfuckers are involved in. Like, I just like fighting. I'm good at it, and I like getting paid to do it.
Awesome. Cody, thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
If you want to plug your social media, plug any sponsors you might have, and if you want to thank anybody, the floor is yours.
I don't want to thank a fucking person, dude. I thank me for working my ass off. Get ready for Luan in Brazil. My social media is just Cody Stamann.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.